Her abusive ex-husband grabbed her throat at a mall. Korean Mafia boss took off his rings Part 2. The rings on the marble floor, Noah's scream pierced through the blur. Mama? Myra's vision flickered. She saw her daughter, small, shaking, clutching a pink backpack decorated with fading unicorns. 9 years old. Too young to understand court documents. Old enough to recognize danger. Daniel squeezed harder. And then, silence fell. Not the stunned kind. The deliberate kind. A presence had shifted the air. Daniel's hand loosened, not because he wanted to, because someone else had taken hold of him. The man who stepped into Myra's fading sight was dressed in dark charcoal, tailored perfectly, the fabric almost liquid against his shoulders. He moved with unnerving calm, like this interruption had been scheduled. He removed his rings one by one. Silver, onyx, a heavy band carved with something Mira couldn't see. They hit the marble floor with soft, precise clicks. Daniel scoffed. Who the hell? He never finished. The first strike was fast. Not wild, not emotional. Surgical. Daniel staggered back, grip fully broken now, clutching his jaw. The stranger didn't raise his voice, didn't curse, didn't posture. He simply stood between Mira and her ex-husband, between danger and survival. Noah ran to her mother, wrapping both arms around her waist as Mira collapsed to her knees, coughing violently, dragging air into lungs that felt lined with glass. Daniel spat blood onto the floor. This is none of your business. The man tilted his head slightly. It became my business, he said evenly, when you decided to put your hands on someone who cannot fight you back. His voice carried no heat, which made it far more frightening. Security was approaching now. Cautiously, they recognized Daniel from previous disturbances. They did not recognize a stranger, but they recognized authority when they saw it. Daniel looked around, calculating. He was a coward at his core. Violence only thrived when he held the advantage. You're lucky, he muttered at Mira. You and your little. The stranger stepped forward. Daniel shut up, without another word. Daniel backed away, eyes darting between the stranger and the growing crowd. He left, just like that. But Mira knew better. He would not let this go. The man retrieved his rings from the floor, one by one, as if the moment were complete. He slid them back onto his fingers with measured precision. Noah peeked from behind her mother. Mama, is he a superhero? The corner of the man's mouth moved almost imperceptibly. No, he said gently. I'm simply someone who does not tolerate injustice. Mira steadied herself and stood, refusing to show weakness in front of her daughter. Thank you, she managed. Up close, she saw he was younger than she expected, perhaps mid-30s. His gaze was sharp, observant, assessing, not invasive, just aware. You should file another report, he said quietly. They don't do anything, Mira replied, voice hoarse. Restraining order, police reports. He breaks them. He always does. The man studied her bruised neck. He won't break this one. Something in his tone made her pause. Who are you? A slight hesitation. My name is Jehun. He did not offer more. He didn't need to. That night, Mira could not sleep. Noah lay curled beside her in bed, refusing to return to her own room. Mira stroked her daughter's hair, listening to faint city noise beyond the apartment windows. She kept seeing Daniel's eyes. And Jehun's calm. Two very different kinds of power. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She almost ignored it. Instead, she answered. Hello? Is your door locked? Her body went rigid. Yes. Good. It was Jehun. How did you get this number? Your emergency contact form at the mall clinic. He replied smoothly. You listed yourself. She frowned. That makes no sense. A quiet exhale. Almost amusement. I have resources. That was an understatement. I had someone watching your building tonight, he continued. Daniel drove past twice. Ice flooded her veins. He won't enter. How can you know that? A beat. Because he knows who I am now. She swallowed. Who are you, Jehun? Silence lingered. Then, I handle problems. Permanently. Over the next week, Daniel did not appear. No calls, no messages, no sudden sightings outside Noah's school. For the first time in years, Mira walked outside without checking over her shoulder every few steps. But peace felt fragile, like glass balanced on a ledge. Jehun appeared again the following Friday, this time outside Noah's dance class. He stood near a black sedan, hands folded behind him, posture relaxed yet unmistakably alert. "You don't have to do this," Mira said when she approached. "Do what?" "Guard us." His gaze shifted toward the dance studio window, where Noah laughed with another girl. "I am not guarding you," he said. "I am ensuring stability." "That sounds like guarding." He almost smiled. "Semantics." She hesitated. "Why?" That word carried everything inside it. Why us? Why care? Why risk involvement? Jehun watched Noah spin clumsily across the studio floor. "I had a sister," he said finally. The air changed. "She was gentle, like your daughter. She married someone she thought would protect her." Myra's chest tightened. He didn't. The statement was flat, final. "I was too late," he continued. "I do not intend to repeat that mistake." Something inside Mira shifted. Not fear, not quite trust. Recognition. Pain meeting pain. Daniel's mistake came 2 weeks later. He confronted Mira in the parking garage beneath her apartment building. He miscalculated. He assumed she was alone. He grabbed her wrist, yanking her toward a pillar. "You think some suit scares me," he spat. "You belong to me." Before Mira could react, headlights flooded the garage. The black sedan. Jehun stepped out slowly. He did not remove his jacket this time. He did not need to. Daniel released her instantly, backing away. Jehun approached with measured steps. "You were warned." Daniel tried to laugh, but it cracked midway. "You think you can threaten me?" Jehun tilted his head. "I don't threaten." 2 men emerged from the sedan's back seat. Not flashy, not loud, just solid. Daniel's bravado evaporated. "What do you want?" he demanded, voice shaking now. Jehun stopped a foot away from him. "I want you to relocate." "Relocate?" "You will move to another city. You will sign over remaining custody claims. You will cease contact permanently." "And if I don't?" Jehun looked at him the way one examines an insect. "You misunderstand your position." Daniel lunged, a last, desperate attempt to reclaim dominance. He never reached Jehun. The 2 men intercepted him effortlessly. The struggle was brief, controlled. When they released him, Daniel's arrogance had drained completely. Jehun leaned closer, voice barely above a whisper. "You place your hands on her throat in public. That was your final mistake." Daniel left the city 3 days later. Weeks passed, then months. The bruises on Myra's neck faded. The tension in Noah's shoulders eased. Life began to feel ordinary, which was extraordinary. Jehun did not disappear. He did not hover either. He would appear occasionally, at school events, at the bakery Mira worked at, once at the park when Noah fell off the swings and scraped her knee. He never crossed boundaries. He never asked for gratitude. One evening, as autumn settled in gold and amber across the city, Mira invited him to dinner. It felt absurdly normal. He removed his shoes at the door. Noah studied him openly. "Are you in the Mafia?" she asked bluntly over soup. Mira nearly choked. Jehun blinked once. "Why would you think that?" "You walk like the guys in movies," Noah said thoughtfully. "And bad people get scared of you." He considered this. "I am in logistics." Noah narrowed her eyes. "That sounds fake." He laughed. Actually laughed. Mira stared. It transformed him, softened the sharpness around his eyes. "Perhaps," he admitted. After dinner, Noah fell asleep on the couch, her head resting against Jehun's arm without hesitation. Mira froze. He remained perfectly still, as if entrusted with something sacred. "She trusts you," Mira whispered. Jehun looked down at the child. "She is brave." Mira studied him carefully. "You could have destroyed Daniel." "Yes." "You didn't." "No." "Why?" His answer came without pause. "Because you deserve peace." not more violence. That was the moment something inside her finally unclenched. Not fear, not survival. Something deeper. Hope. But peace is never given freely. It must be defended. A call came one winter night. Daniel had been seen back in the city. Drunk, angry, talking too loudly in the wrong places. Jihoon stood at Myra's window, watching snowfall coat the streets. "He is desperate," he said. "Will he come here?" she asked. "No. How can you be sure?" He looked at her. "Because this time I will finish it." She stepped closer. "Jihoon, I don't want blood on my conscience." His expression shifted, not annoyed, not dismissive, just resolute. There are many ways to end a threat. The following morning, news spread quietly through certain circles. Daniel had been arrested. Multiple charges surfaced simultaneously. Financial fraud, assault reports previously buried, probation violations. Evidence appeared as if it had been waiting. Maybe it had. He would not see freedom for a long time. Mira read the article twice. Then she exhaled, not in fear, not in shock, in release. Spring arrived gently. Noah performed in her first dance recital without scanning the audience for danger. Mira opened her own small cafe, funded anonymously, though she knew the source. Jihoon stood at the back during the opening day, blending into shadows as usual. After closing, Mira approached him. "You changed everything." He shook his head. "You survived. I simply removed obstacles." She smiled softly. "That's not simple." He looked at her the way he had in the mall that first day, assessing, steady, but now there was warmth there. Not possession, not control. Choice. "I cannot promise a simple life," he said quietly. "My world is complicated." She stepped closer. "I've lived complicated." A faint, rare smile. Noah burst through the cafe door, nearly colliding with them. "Mama, Uncle Jihoon, look." She held up a drawing. 3 figures. One small, one tall with long hair, one tall in a dark suit, holding hands, under a bright yellow sun. Jihoon stared at it longer than necessary. "You drew me too tall," he said lightly. "No," Noah replied confidently. "You just stand big." Mira met his eyes. For the first time since that day in the mall, she felt no fear of the past, only the fragile, stubborn courage of the future. And beside her stood a man who removed his rings not to intimidate, but to protect. The world would always hold danger. But this time, she was not alone. Part 3. The Things That Linger. Spring didn't erase trauma. It just made it easier to breathe around it. The cafe, Noah's son, named after the drawing still taped behind the counter, became Myra's quiet rebellion against the life she had survived. Warm light, soft music, the smell of fresh bread by 6 every morning. Normal. She cherished normal. Jihoon never claimed a table, never announced himself. He simply appeared when needed. Sometimes across the street, sometimes inside pretending to read financial reports that were definitely not about finance. Noah adored him in the uncomplicated way children do when they sense safety. Mira adored him in a far more dangerous way, because safety had never looked like him before. The first crack came on a Tuesday. A man she didn't recognize entered the cafe just before closing. Mid-40s, immaculate suit, expensive watch, polite smile that didn't reach his eyes. He ordered tea, didn't drink it. "Business seems good," he said casually. "We're blessed," Mira replied. His gaze drifted to the framed drawing near the register. The 3 stick figures. "How long has Mr. Park been involved?" Her spine stiffened. "I don't discuss my customers." His smile sharpened slightly. "I'm not a customer." The bell above the door chimed. Jihoon stepped inside. The air shifted instantly. The man stood, adjusted his cuffs. "You should have answered my calls," he told Jihoon calmly. "I was busy," Jihoon replied. "With this?" A glance at Mira. Jihoon didn't look at her. "Not yet. This is not your concern." The man sighed. "It becomes my concern when you divert resources." Mira felt cold. "Resources?" Jihoon's eyes hardened a fraction. "Outside." The two men walked out together like businessmen concluding a meeting. Mira stood frozen behind the counter. Noah peeked from the back room. Mama? It's okay, Mira lied gently. But she wasn't sure. Jihun returned alone 10 minutes later. His expression was controlled, but something beneath it simmered. Who was he? Mira asked. My cousin. That didn't look like a family reunion. It wasn't. She crossed her arms. You said your world was complicated. I accepted that. I did not agree to be collateral damage. His jaw tightened, not in anger at her, in restraint. You are not collateral. Then tell me what that was. A long silence. Then, my family oversees certain enterprises, organized ones. There it was, the word unspoken but understood. Mafia. My involvement has always been strategic, he continued. I keep violence contained, structured. And now they believe my attention is divided. Because of us. Yes. He didn't sugarcoat it. Mira appreciated that. Are we in danger? No. Too fast. She noticed. He noticed that she noticed. Not from them. He corrected. Jihun. His gaze softened. I will not allow harm to reach you. That's not what I asked. Silence again. Then honesty. They will test boundaries. The test came 3 nights later. A black SUV idled across from Myra's apartment building long past midnight. It didn't approach. It didn't leave. It just waited. Jihun arrived before she even called him. How did you know? She whispered as he entered the apartment. I have people who watch the watchers. That didn't comfort her the way he probably intended. Noah stirred from the couch where she'd fallen asleep during a movie. Is it bad guys? She murmured. Jihun knelt beside her. No, he said softly. Just curious ones. I don't like curious, she mumbled. Neither do I. Mira watched him brush hair from Noah's forehead with careful fingers. This was not a man who craved chaos. This was a man constantly managing it. The following morning, Jihun took Mira somewhere he had never shown her before. Not a nightclub, not a warehouse, an office tower. Top floor, minimalist, silent, panoramic view of the city. This is where decisions are made, he said. Legal ones, she asked. He gave her a look. Mostly. She stepped toward the glass, staring down at the streets far below. Is this what you want, Jihun? He didn't answer immediately. No. The admission was quiet. It is what I inherited. And you can't walk away? His eyes met hers in the reflection, not without destabilizing everything. Everything being power balances, territories, people who would happily replace me with someone far less restrained. Mira turned fully toward him. So you stay to keep it controlled. Yes. Even if it costs you a normal life? He almost smiled. I did not expect a normal life. She stepped closer. What if I want one with you? That landed. He looked at her like she just handed him something fragile and explosive at the same time. They will push harder, he said quietly. If you stay. I've been pushed harder. This is different. She lifted her chin. So am I? The cousin returned. Not to the cafe. To Jihun's office. Mira wasn't there, but Jihun told her later. They think you are a liability, she said flatly. They think you are leverage. Her stomach dropped. And what did you say? I told them if they so much as inconvenience you, I will dismantle every revenue stream they rely on. Her eyes widened. You can do that? Yes. And then what? Then there would be war. Silence filled the apartment. Noah's laughter drifted from her bedroom as she practiced dance steps. Mira exhaled slowly. I won't be the reason for bloodshed. You aren't. But I could be. Jihun stepped closer. You are the reason I am choosing a different structure. She frowned. What does that mean? It means I am transitioning control. Quietly, gradually, into legitimate channels. You can do that? I already am. Hope flickered. That man at the cafe, she realized. He wasn't mad about you protecting us. He was mad you're changing things. Yes. And they don't like change. No. The escalation wasn't violent. It was psychological. Health inspections at the cafe. Anonymous complaints. A sudden audit of Jehun's corporate holdings. Pressure. Calculated. Mira almost admired the subtlety. "They're trying to make you choose," she said one evening as they reviewed paperwork at her kitchen table. "I already have." "Jehun." He looked at her steadily. "If they force confrontation, it will not be because of you. It will be because they underestimated me." She studied him carefully. "You're not just protecting us. No, you're dismantling something." "Yes, for good. For good." No bravado, just certainty. The breaking point came at Noah's school recital. The auditorium was packed. Parents with cameras. Teachers whispering. Children buzzing with nervous energy backstage. Mira sat beside Jehun in the third row. 2 rows behind them. Jehun's cousin took a seat. Alone, not smiling, not subtle. Message received. Noah stepped onto stage. Music began. She danced, fearless, radiant, unaware of power struggles playing out in adult silence. Mira felt Jehun's hand tense beside hers. His cousin leaned forward slightly, not threatening, just reminding. After performance, as applause filled the room, Jehun stood. He turned, walked directly to his cousin. Mira couldn't hear the words exchanged, but she saw the shift. Jehun did not lower his voice, did not posture. He simply spoke. Firm, final. His cousin's expression hardened, then cooled, then conceded. He left before the curtain closed. Jehun returned to his seat. "What did you say?" Mira whispered. "That the era of fear-based leadership ends with me." Her pulse quickened. "And if they don't accept that, they will." "How can you be sure?" He looked toward the stage where Noah waved excitedly at them. "Because I am no longer alone." Weeks later, the SUV stopped appearing. The inspection stopped. The cousin stopped calling. News trickled through quiet channels. Restructuring, dissolving certain operations, reinvestments in legitimate enterprises. Jehun was not destroying the empire. He was converting it, slowly, carefully, like turning a blade into a shield. One evening, on the cafe rooftop under soft city lights, Mira stood beside him. "It's working," she said. "Yes. You did this." "We did." She smiled faintly. "Noah thinks you're a superhero." "I am not." "You kind of are." He huffed a quiet laugh. "I am a man trying to build something my sister would not be ashamed of." Mira slipped her hand into his. "For what it's worth," she said softly, "I'm not ashamed." He turned to her. For a moment, he wasn't a strategist, wasn't a leader, wasn't feared. Just a man who had once arrived at a mall and removed his rings. "I never wanted power," he admitted. "What did you want?" He looked at her. "This." Noah burst through the rooftop door, holding sparklers she definitely wasn't supposed to have. "Mama, Uncle Jehun." "Look." Jehun sighed, but accepted one. He lit it carefully, watched the sparks dance in the night air. Mira watched him instead. The man who could end threats with a whisper. The man who chose not to. The man who turned violence into protection. The world would always be complicated, but now it was theirs to shape. And this time, the rings on his fingers were no longer symbols of power. They were reminders of the day he took them off and chose something better.